Hello.
This is Tara Armoff.
And this is Samba Cherry Bomb.
And we are back here covering Battle for the Coast 2014. We have the second game for these teams, the Richmond Wrecking Bells from Bay Area going up against the Ventura County Vendals. Vendals losing their first game this morning. Wrecking Bells winning their first game by quite a bit. So we'll see what happens. The first jam is underway.
Looks like the Wrecking Bells are really giving the Vendals jammer a difficult time, but she makes it through. That's number 412.
Number 412, that is Rampage Ray. Demand a Riot, jammer for the Wrecking Bells. She was not lead jammer. She came up, and it looked like each team picked up a point on that jam, so it's a 1-to-1 game.
I expect that this is going to be a very interesting game to watch, Tara. What are some of your thoughts on this lineup?
Well, let's see. Let's see if I can pull out my seating really quick. No, of course I can't because it is not absolutely handy. But with the Wrecking Bells winning their first game and Ventura losing their first game, it'll be interesting to see if Ventura will catch up, if they've warmed up after that first game. Slow start there.
And it appears that the Vendals are struggling to get through that really difficult defense put up by Richmond.
Chantilly Mace is the jammer for the Wrecking Bells. A lot of you know who she is. She is on the Bay Area All-Stars, and so you might have heard of her. And this is now a power jam in favor of the Wrecking Bells. The Ventura jammer is going to the notorious RED penalty box.
Let's see what the Vendals are attempting to do. It looks like it was not completely effective. Chantilly just went right through that defensive line.
Well, it looked like they were going to trying to rush with Mace as she hit the pack, but she took that little apex jump, got her 5 points, and she's through again. That is another 5-point pass for the Richmond Wrecking Bells.
With a skater that is that agile, it's almost impossible unless you perfectly execute a play to make her stop her momentum.
Sandra Bullitt for Ventura going to the penalty box for a multiplayer block. And now we have a power jam in favor of Ventura. Looks like we have a revolving door on the notorious RED penalty box. And it's Kill Jill on the track right now for Ventura.
Kill Jill being thrown to the inside, forced to go back, get in behind Bay Area players who are doing a great job at keeping her back. Great defensive work together. These blockers are really, really making her struggle.
That was a nice defensive tactic that the Wrecking Bells were utilizing there. Instead of a line across the track, they were lining up one behind the other. Chantilly Mace back on the track for Richmond. And again, the Richmond Wrecking Bells, one of the home teams for the Bay Area Derby girls. Chantilly Mace coming out along the outside, picking up 4 points. Got the conclusion to that jam. And we're waiting for a score update. Okay, it looks like, I don't think they updated the scoreboard quite yet because they are showing the Wrecking Bells at 15 and Vendals with 0. That might be the score. Who knows? We'll just go with it for now. All right, waiting for the next jam to start. Looks like Thin Lizzy on the jammer line for the Wrecking Bells. All right, Charmer, head ref. I believe she's a head ref for the tournament. Came by and said that they were updating the scoreboard. And yes, they did. I was correct. Richmond Wrecking Bells at 25 points. Vendals with 1.
That one very vital point, Tara. We don't want to take any points away from these skaters because they're working so hard. We want to give a shout out to Wicked Skatewear. That's www.com. Wicked Skatewear.
Wicked Skatewear keeping the fun in Derby. I love them a lot. Thin Lizzy out and lead jammer for the Richmond Wrecking Bells. Wrecking Bells keeping their defense up on the Ventura jammer. She finally makes it out of the pack, and it is now a power jam in favor of Ventura.
That's Blushy Lushy jamming for Ventura. Almost at a complete stop, just really pushing hard against Richmond Wrecking Bells to get through. This is a great defensive.
Oh, look at that. Nice little twist there trying to get through.
Forced to the inside. 238 sent to the box with a penalty.
That's Baron von Punchhausen going to the notorious RED penalty box. Lushy still trying to get through on. I do believe this is a scoring pass for her. Thin Lizzy back on the track for Richmond. Ventura walling it up. Really nice job by Renegade Riot there, going one-on-one against Thin Lizzy. And again, Vendals are in the lime green, and Richmond in the blue and yellow.
Scaitlin with a big hit on Ventura's jammer, throwing her to the inside, forcing her back in behind. And number 9mm, again, just thrashing into her, forcing her to work for every single point.
Thin Lizzy having a really tough time trying to get through that Ventura defense. Again, it looks like now Ventura defense, they were strong in their previous game against San Fernando Valley earlier today, but their jammers weren't getting out. So it'll be interesting to see if Ventura can maintain their defense and step up their jammer effectiveness a little bit for this game.
You know, I love this lineup because it's, two very different styles of play here, and just to see them functioning on this track and the defense on both teams working. Both have some really great points, and both are really effective. So it's just really great derby. I'm really enjoying this game.
And it looks like Amanda Jamadinya on the jammer line for the Richmond Wrecking Bells. I'm sure everybody remembers her. She used to skate with Duke City once upon a time, as well as the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls. Now she is with Bay Area.
And Channing Hayden skating for Ventura County.
AJ coming through. Nice little twirl, calling it off just as Channing Hayden was about to hit the pack on her scoring pass. Richmond increasing their lead 37-10 against the Vendals with just over 13 and a half minutes left in the game. Again, these are 20-minute games. And our morning group, in case you guys did not know, is the Richmond Wrecking Bells, Silicon Valley Kilobytes, SFV, Ventura, and Baco, the Derby Revolution from Bakersfield. And this afternoon, we're going to be having the LA and San Diego Derby Dolls, West Coast Derby Knockouts, V-Town from Visalia, California, and Santa Cruz.
Looks like Rampage Ray is jamming for Ventura and Demanda Riot for the Wrecking Bells.
Now, one of the times that Demanda jammed in the first game that the Wrecking Bells played today, she was able to rack up like 20 million points in one jam, and that was without a power jam. So it'll be interesting to see if Demanda can do something similar in this game, because point differentials definitely do matter in these games as to where people are going to be placed for tomorrow's full-length games.
And she is such an aware player. She's constantly looking at the clock. As we saw in this jam right here, she actually turned back, looked at the clock, and called off the jam.
She does that. She's good at that kind of thing. And this is, I love watching Demanda jam, because we don't get to see her do that with the Bay Area All-Stars. She is mainly a pack person, and so to see her out there and jamming is just a delight.
Yes, very exciting derby.
Chantilly Mace jamming for Bay Area. Now the whistle is blown and no one is moving. Now this is interesting because Wrecking Bells are in the lead, so they don't care. They can eat up the clock. They can stand around all day if that's what they really want to do. Ventura wants to get things going, but it's Chantilly Mace that is out and lead jammer for the Wrecking Bells.
She just powered through that defensive line. And right behind her, we have Ventura's jammer. She calls it off right before Ventura can even catch up to the pack. At this time, I'd like to give a shout out to Elite Group, a full-service wholesale promotional product and marketing company. You can check them out at www.aligroup.com.
Score, it says 43-10. I think they're a little slow to update the scoreboard, but let's just say the Richmond Wrecking Bells holding on to their lead right now against the tournament hosts, the Ventura Vendals. Just over 11 minutes left in this game.
Looks like number 1, Kill Jill, is jamming for the Vendals.
And it's Thin Lizzy, number 10, for the Wrecking Bells.
And it looks like we have tournament coordinator Sandra Bullitt out there blocking for the Vendals.
I love it that she is just doing everything this weekend. She's going to organize a tournament and skate all day and have all the fun that she can.
And look fabulous. I have to say, she has some of the best hair I've ever seen in my life.
Then Lizzie coming up against Ventura defense. They take themselves out. She's picking up some more points.
And it looks like a pile up here. Kill Jill just being hit in by Angel Maker. And now being kept back by FU2.
That would be Kutcha Kakoff.
Either way, she sounds pretty scary.
Thin Lizzy almost getting through again, but she got forced out of bounds. She has to reset behind Sidechick and Sandra Bullitt.
And she just jumps through Sidechick.
All right, looks like Baron von Punchhausen being sent to the penalty box for a back block.
And Kill Jill trying to act as a blocker since she cannot get through the Richmond defensive line.
Nina Beretta just isn't even letting her do anything. Really good defense again by the Wrecking Bells. Both Wrecking Bells and Ventura, their defense is insane. And it looks like the score is 61-10 in favor of the Wrecking Bells. 9 minutes, 20 seconds in this game.
Right now, we'd also like to give a shout out to Sin City Skates, another sponsor for Battle for the Coast. It is www.sincityskates.com.
I do believe they were the first brick and mortar skate shop for Derby, if I remember correctly. It started by Ivana Spankin and Trish the Dish. Everybody knows them.
Yes.
They're kind of wonderful. Well, look at this. Chantilly Mace coming to a dead stop. Again, she's in the lead. She's lead jammer.
Looks like Channing is through the pack.
Now it looks like the Wrecking Bells have a little bit of penalty trouble. They don't have all their blockers on the track, and so I think Chantilly Mace she just came to a stop because she wants to eat up the clock, eat up that penalty time. She wants her skaters back on the track to help her through that pack.
Yeah, some really, really smart Derby right now, and that's really, I think, what's going to distinguish the winning team this year is really just strategy and calling off at the right times. All these teams have a lot of heart, so I don't think it's that. I really do think it's just being able to utilize your players and utilize the time on the clock effectively.
AJ back on the jammer line for the Wrecking Bells. And I want to say that's Channing Hayden for Ventura, but it's hard to tell from our angle right here. AJ out and lead jammer for the Wrecking Bells.
Actually, it's Lana Payne. She hasn't jammed yet for the Vendals. This is her first jam out here.
I like how I'm just going to make people up.
Well, it did look like Channing from here. It really did. I thought it was too. You know, with Sexy Beast on the track, it's really difficult to see the jammer sometimes.
That's true. He's a big sexy beast.
Yes, he is.
Ventura still at 10 points. Richmond Wrecking Bells 67. 7 minutes left in the game. Demanda Riot jamming for the Wrecking Bells. She squeaks through on the inside between turn 1 and 2.
And Richmond giving, looks like Channing Tatum this time, a very
That really
difficult
is
time.
Channing Tatum.
I mean, they are just jumping back and forth. As spry as she is and as agile, the blockers for this team are so agile. They're just jumping back and forth.
Demanda Riot being sent to the penalty box. I didn't quite see the call on that, but this does make it a power jam in favor of the Vendals.
and Channing Tatum thought she was past the Wrecking Bells defensive line, but they jumped right in front of her, made her work for her pass.
Really excellent bridging work by the Wrecking Bells. Trying, again, eating up the time as much as possible with only 30-second penalties. They really want to work that defense.
Baron von Punchhausen, there is their pivot, really calling out some plays, having her girls just really work together.
Now this is interesting. Channing Tatum made it through, picked up 5 points, and just as she's coming out of the pack, Demanda Riot comes out of the penalty box. And so Demanda Riot trying to do a little D-jammer action there. Again, she's going to want to eat up the clock. Richmond in the lead. She wants to preserve that lead as much as possible. She gets through, leaving Channing Tatum to be eaten up by Richmond's defense.
Yeah, and Baron von Punchhausen just pushes her into the inside, forces her back, and then now it's that back to that same formation. I mean, this is it. Derby essentials and basics. I mean, they can win games.
And one of the big differences that I'm seeing in general gameplay between these two teams is Richmond really has the fancy footwork down, whereas Ventura wants to go for those bigger hits. And so Bay Area, they're using their containment strategies more effectively than Ventura's big hitting, which isn't a slouch on Ventura at all. It's just the way the different styles are coming together in this particular game is creating this score differential of 82-18 in favor of the Wrecking Bells.
Both exciting to watch. The crowd really digs those big hits too. So
I like the big hits as well. Skate like it's 2008, baby.
Well, we'd also like to tell everyone about Notorious Red. They are penalty box sponsors. That's notoriousred.com.
And that's Notorious R-E-D, by the way.
Oh, okay, R-E-D. Oops.
Also, if you guys want to talk to us via the Twitters, you could do a hashtag BFTC2014. So give us a shout out on the Twitterverse. Chantilly Mays, lead jammer for the Wrecking Bells. She picked up 5 points. Rampage Ray, the jammer for Ventura, getting held back very well by the Wrecking Bells. However, she does make it through. Oh, Chantilly Mays being sent to the penalty box for a back block, making this a power jam in favor of Rampage Ray and the Vendals.
Side chick going in, trying to break up the Richmond wall along with the rest of the Vendals.
Now, this is where those big hits are coming in handy, actually, for the Vendals, breaking up that that wall there. And again, with the rules changes as well, it's like you can't have that previously impenetrable wall. I cannot talk today. That is awful.
Well, they tried to panty pass Ventura, but right before she was able to score a point, side chick was not allowed to. It was called off by Chantilly.
And that's another interesting thing about the Star Pass this year in WFTDA. It happens as soon as the jammer hands off the cover. And so the pivot can be a little bit sneaky about putting it on. She can make her way through the pack and then put it on. And so little sneaky strategery going on.
I kind of like it. I like this new rule.
Crowd very enthusiastic because Ventura getting out and lead jammer in the form of Lana Payne. Thin Lizzy, the jammer for the Wrecking Bells, also gets out of the pack. However, Lana Payne gets out, scores 2 points, and calls it off before Richmond is able to score at all. Ventura very happy about that. Jam's like, yes, we got some points.
It's really exciting to hear the Ventura fans really cheering their girls on, keeping their spirits up. This is awesome because it's tournament, so they will be up again later on in this morning. We're going to see them again playing Silicon Valley next, and then lastly against Derby Revolution Bakersfield.
And just to remind everyone as well, Richmond Wrecking Bells are seeded number 2 in this tournament, and Ventura is seeded number 8. The score with just over 2 minutes left in the game, 95-20 in favor of the Richmond Wrecking Bells. Looks like we have a timeout. It was a team timeout called out by Ventura.
So, Tara, is anything going on Twitter?
I don't know because I don't have my phone with me.
You know, I don't even know how to Twitter.
You don't know how to Twitter?
I really don't.
You don't know how to twit on the Twitter?
Know. Is it? Yeah, whatever
you tweet on the Twitter.
I don't know how to do it, but I'm open to learning.
AJ back on the jammer line for the Richmond Wrecking Bells, the team in navy blue and yellow.
And it sounds like the Bay Area fans are here, or the Richmond fans are here supporting their girls.
AJ pushing her way through on the inside line. However, Ventura figuring it out where she's at, and they are holding that inside line as much as... Oh, AJ going down between turns 1 and 2 and getting forced back into the pack.
And Channing Hayden looks like...
AJ finally making it out and getting lead jammer for Richmond.
And Channing sent to the box for a cut.
Oh, those track cuts. AJ pushing her way through. Nice little twirly action there on the outside of turn 3, picking up 5 points for the Richmond Wrecking Bells. They are at 100 points right now.
Wow, that was some great skating there. I mean, she just goes right up to the line, does a tomahawk, well, not really a stop, but just skates and then comes right back in. So pretty to watch.
Her figure skating background shows through very well. Ventura trying to push her out of bounds, but they get out of play. They have to let her go. That's another 5 points for AJ and the Richmond Wrecking Bells. There's less than a minute left on the period clock. Channing Hayden back out on the track for Ventura. Let's see if she can sneak in some points before AJ calls it off. Oh, AJ a little too aware. She's keeping an eye on things. Gets by her own blockers at the back of the pack. Decides to mix it up there and call it off. Ventura picking up 1 point in that jam. Looks like they are at 21. Richmond Wrecking Bells 114. Looks like we have time for one more jam.
It looks like we have number 1 on the line for Ventura. Kill Jill jamming against Demand a Riot.
No pressure.
Yeah, no big deal.
Oh, actually looks like the clock ran out. So that means that the unofficial final score, Richmond Wrecking Bells 114, Ventura 21. This is Ventura's second loss of the day and Richmond Wrecking Bells' second win. Now, in a few minutes, we are going to have SFV versus Baco, and we will be here for that. So we're going to take ourselves a quick little break, and we will be back with you guys in a few minutes.